Confirmation by C.E. Dorsett. From the world of the dragons of night. Gray knelt in the chapel. The sweet scent of the manna burning in the brazier dulled his senses, his pain. The statue of the angel Eloleth mirrored his posture. His eyes lingered on the burning halo around the angel's head as the fire burned within him. Mother Soteria, in her habit and painted face, walked up to him and offered him his first taste of manna. Today, he became a man in the eyes of his people and awoke the shattered angel within. Everything hurt. His eyes burned as the scales ruptured in flames. Soon, he would see the world as it truly was. His back ached as his fledgling wings struggled to rise. They wouldn't be made of flesh and blood, but of shadow. Why did it have to hurt so much? His blood boiled in his veins as the life he knew died. Soon, he would be a lord of the dead, and no longer one of the living. Why did it have to happen now? Who said that at 13 he should endure so much suffering to come into his own? Who chose this time and this place? His breath caught in the back of his throat. He wanted to gasp, scream, cry out, but his body betrayed him. Born Rephaim, the soul of the angel resided within him. On this day, he became a living sacrifice. Mother bound his arms and legs so gently. Her tenderness calmed his fears, but couldn't take them away. She had officiated so many of these ceremonies in her long life. If she said he would be fine, he would be fine. In 5 minutes, it will all be over, she whispered in his ear before she sang hymns in the ancient tongue. Words familiar and yet distant. He had neglected his studies, but the old language didn't come naturally to him, unlike the pain he now felt. Suffering was the most natural state he'd ever existed in. Had he ever lived without it? Everything before this moment was the merest hint of a dream. A whisper spoken to children so they wouldn't be afraid of the dark. Why would he be afraid of the dark? He was the darkness. He was the shadow of the divine. The Great Mother had chosen his people to bless above all others, or so the story goes. His skin burned with a lightning heat, like a tear ripping deep gashes into his flesh. Yet, he still could not scream. He couldn't breathe. It was as if giant hands crushed him from all sides. He couldn't tell where the knuckles were, or which side he might squeeze out, because everything closed in. A distant ringing surrounded him, like tolling of an ancient bell, ringing to announce the death of another fallen soul. It was neither happy nor sad, but something in the sound rejoiced, almost reveled in the pain that birthed it. Unseen choirs of neutral angels sang as his soul split from his body. He arched his back and understood why Mother bound his wrists and ankles. The bindings were for his own protection. As he tried to thrash about, all he did was flounder on the floor like a fish out of water, desperate to breathe, wanting to return to his native environment. Light shone through his skin as his body caught fire, and he rose into the air. In the olden days, they tied them to a stake and danced around them as they burned. He asked for a private ceremony. The thought of cackling dancers moving around him as he endured so much frightened him more than the pain itself. Yet here, alone in the chapel, shadows rose from the ground and danced in the flickering flames that burned his old flesh from his body. They joined the chorus and sang along with Mother's sweet and sorrowful song. Gray longed for death, for release from the static, burning pain that covered his body from the top of his head to the soles of his feet. He knew it would not come. Death rarely came for his people, and never when they were so young. The flames caressed his body with the tender love of a fairy tale mother, promising to bring relief, but twisting the dagger deeper into his flesh. Screaming as the air trapped within him finally found a route to the surface, a passage back into the world. The flesh on his back gave way, and he felt his wings push him higher into the air and lift him up. They fanned the flames, and he burned ever brighter like a star new to the night sky. He screamed with both agony and ecstasy as his old life ended and his new one began. The ashes of his former life wafted in the air as his new wings beat, suspending him between heaven and earth. Gray laughed. 5 minutes of suffering, and now the world was his forever. Hunger stirred and would not be forsaken. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, and you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this channel. It really does help out a lot. Let me know what you think, because that's how we grow, is by sharing knowledge with one another. If you'd like to help keep this content coming your way, down in the description, you'll find a link to my Patreon and my Ko-fi for one-time donations. Thank you so much to everybody who does that. You don't know how much that means to me, that you're willing to give some of your hard-earned money to help me keep creating content for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you don't have any money right now, it's all right, but maybe share this video, this story, with people that you think might like it, because getting discovered is the hardest part of the job. As always, remember, Black Lives Matter, Black trans lives matter, trans identities are valid. And until next time, I hope you have the courage to ride your dreams into reality. And don't forget to have the fun. Bye.